Good afternoon, everybody. I was in the shop today doing some maintenance, and I thought I would film it and show you guys three really cool old air rifles. So on the table right now, or my bench, I guess, my rolling cart, I don't know what it is. I have three rifles, and these are all air rifles, and they they got some cool memories for me because these are what most folks, myself included, would consider kids' guns, youth air rifles. And I'm the proud father of three boys, oldest being 14. I mention him often, a 12 and a 6-year-old. And I started collecting these when I was, and others, when I was really into air guns before I got really into rimfire, because I had little kids and I wanted to be able to enjoy shooting as much as I did. So these are youth-friendly air guns, and believe me, they are a blast to shoot even as an adult, which is one of the reasons I still have them. So I have a Slavia 618 made by the famous CZ company, a Slavia 624, again, CZ, and basically a Diana 23. Well, this one's a Gakato or Jakato, depending who you are, 23, made in Germany. They all are more or less the same size, and the 618 is the smallest. This one is very small, and even though the 624 is the largest, they both share the same power plant and compression tube. Parts are interchangeable. The barrel is longer, quite a bit longer, but the stocks are basically identical. Actually, the stock on the 624 is quite nice. The wood is quite nice. Normally, they're very budget-oriented rifles, so they don't get nice wood. Like the 618's wood is not nice, and they have this habit of using this awful shellac that peels and is rough. And the grain on this is about as bad as it gets for a beach stock. But again, it doesn't matter. It serves a purpose. You can see the stamping there. This one is also engraved for, I believe it's a Slavia peep sight, even though nobody's ever seen one. So most people slap two rings together and put a little rimfire scope on it. This one's been drilled and tapped for a side mount of some sort before my time. Serial number on the side. This one's had some work done to it, and I can't remember for the life of me if that was me replacing that rivet and the stock washer. I don't know. It's been so many years I don't remember. This one's an older one because it has two divots for, it's welded for the dovetail for the sight. But there's no date stamping on this one. Usually there's a little date stamping there. This one doesn't have it, although it's an older one. This one does have it, and it says, gotta make that out. I believe it says it's either a 61 or a 67, and there's a USSR right there. The 624 shoots a little bit hotter than the 618. I haven't cronied them in some time, but the 624 was low to mid 400s from what I remember. This guy was like 350, and the Diana, which I'll get to in a second, is pushing 450, 475. I've recently rebuilt this one, last summer actually. Stripped it and rebuilt it, resurfaced it. I shouldn't say rebuilt it, I left. It has a leather seal, front breech seal and piston seal. So I just basically oiled it. It's marked there. So they're all absolute joys to shoot. You can literally cock them with one finger. The Diana has a very nice ball bearing lockup, and you'll notice there's no breech seal in the typical location because it's actually, I gotta hold the barrel here, it's actually back here. Get out of frame here. So on most air guns it surrounds where you'd put the pellet, but on this particular one it's back in here. Kind of interesting. It's a beautiful shooter, a nice little tiny gun, and like it weighs about 4 pounds, and so great for a kid, but like nothing beats around the campfire beer can plinker gun. It's extremely fun to shoot. I shoot it like, I have taken it out to 25 yards, beer cans, no problem. I've even done some 50-yard shots with it, no problem. It's fun to shoot. The accuracy on the 618 is probably the worst out of the bunch. I would say the 624, for the most part, probably has the best overall accuracy to power ratio, although the Diana, I think, is the hardest hitter by far. And I don't think that's because of the rebuild. I actually, just before I turned on the camera, I just opened this up and checked it all out. It had some issues with the seal. I had replaced the seal some years ago, and it was, for some reason recently, it was giving some problems where it was actually sticking in the compression tube. So I had to open it up, and I cleaned it out, re-oiled it, and reduced the diameter of the seal a little bit on my belt sander, and now it works great. So still has some little break-in to do, but you can see that's the type of breech it has. And I'll show you this one over here. Just a kind of a leather, sorry, I bumped the camera there. Just kind of a leather seal with a chisel detent. Anyway, that's no butt pad, just straight, you know, grooved at the back. And this one's missing the compression tube cover where it's present on the 624. Right there, kind of blocks the back. They're just kind of a friction fit on the Slavias, and the Diana has a nice threaded cap. You can see them made in Germany right there. I think the bluing on, even though this one's had some rough use, it's typical to see them with rough use because they're kids' guns, right? So they're not always, you know, maintained the best. And like with me, it's been no exception. I wipe them down real quick, but you know, they've been wet and they've been whole 9 yards, and they were rough before I got them. But you can see the barrels are, some dirt on that one. The barrels are relatively the same. And you know, I think both of them originally had a hood on them, but it's been lost a long time ago. Hood would be nice because the ends are quite sharp, and for kids it definitely has nailed more than one of my kids. I've never seen one with a hood personally, so I come across them quite a few times here and there, and I'm always tempted to pick up more because they're great to like give to friends to shoot. I would not call them a pest control gun in the least, although I'm sure some people have used them for that. To me, they're just pop can plinkers, basement plinkers, that sort of thing. And where an air gun really excels. This one has the original screws, and the bluing isn't bad. It's a brown patina on the barrel for sure from being caulked. It's got some hack job up here, not for me, missing the set screw. And it does have the stock washers present, which the 618 doesn't, and all the original stock screws. And this one has the nicest grain. It would actually be, it's not bad looking, but it would actually be a beautiful rifle, I think, refinished. Sometimes there's a date on the back, but not so often on these. I think because the 624 feels a little bit more, I'm a big dude, so it's a little bit more larger size with the barrel. I think I really like the 624, although the pint size of the 618 always held a soft spot for me. But and then the Diana's just, you know, a step above them. They're just made a little bit better. And like, again, I've never refinished it. This is how I got it. And but all the screws are present. They're just hot quality. Simple to rebuild, simple to maintain. You just oil the leather seals occasionally and wipe them down. I'd like to have a little scope on this, or a peep sight in the back, but the tube isn't drilled, and maybe one day I'll do that. They have zero collector value. This one came to me with that, you know, sort of kind of sorted problem with the leather seal, and so I don't think I paid more than 30 or 40 bucks for it. I can't remember exactly, but I didn't pay a lot. This one was given to me by somebody, and it came to me in a box. So, meaning that it was all in pieces. It was for free, this one, and I put it together. I think I paid the most for this one just because I love Diana's, and I really like this one. It's a nice, again, for the kids, right? So I think I paid over $100 for this, and I would pay double that. I know that's crazy, but they're fun to have. There's another one, the 25, 27, like the Diana 27, it's probably the greatest overall fun Springer you can find. They're very hard to find because people like to keep them. Again, this is a great gun. A little bit harder to maintain because of the reverse breech seal, but it's just because it's harder to get to than on the barrel. You don't notice it as much, so you can't check it as often. But this one's shooting quite well near 450, 475 all the time, so it's shooting as it should. You can't get much more out of it for such a small compression tube, so I wouldn't want that much more out of it. Like, I'm very sure it's the original spring in it. They're very low stress, these guns, so they last forever. But anyway, I was just doing some maintenance on them. My oldest son was talking about them and was wanting to, fool around with them. They were kind of nostalgic for him too as well. We had lots of fun with these, even plinking in the shop here, five yards away, just sitting out here one day shooting homemade spinners or plastic bottle caps in a cardboard box or something like that. Lots of fun. So if you come across any of these, they can be had for a bargain. And, even if you're not an air gun person, or, even if you don't have kids or whatever, they're a great gun to just have a good time with. And like, don't kid yourself. You can definitely practice all the fundamentals with them. And man, makes me want to go out into the backyard and spend some time with these old beauties. Thanks a lot for watching. Just wanted to share them with you guys. I'll catch you the next one.